Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Chris Colbert and Cody Crowley, hey, these guys are teaming up to fight against suicide, which is outstanding. At the same time, they actually have fights coming up on March 25th. And it is not going to be, I think, a boring fight card. These guys, they have a very solid fight card put together. But let me tell you something. A big win for Cody Crowley and a big win for Chris Colbert puts them in line for some huge fights. But let me tell you something. As far as the suicide and what these guys are doing, it's a much greater cause. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you right now, Abel Ramos and Cody Crowley, that's the fight that's taking place on the 25th. And Abel Ramos is a tough fight for Crowley. But Crowley has proven something about his stamina, something about his endurance. You know, it's just like watching a guy like Crawford. Something about his eyes, his awareness, something about his counterpunching ability. Watching a guy like Wilder, something about his heavy hands. Watching a guy like Tyson Fury, something about his IQ. You know, you always see something in fighters where you can say there's something special about him. Or this is what helps to make the difference in a fight. And with Cody Crowley, it's his stamina. But the big thing about Cody Crowley and this fight is it's sanctioned by the WBC as a title eliminator. Now, this is his first time fighting since April 16th where he fought Josecito Lopez. But I'm going to tell you right now, Cody Crowley is really a problem. Now, who knows what's going to happen with Spence in the WBC belt? Is Spence fighting Thurman? Is he fighting Crawford? Spence going to 154? Is he dropping the belts? No one knows. But Cody Crowley versus Errol Spence, I think it's a fun fight, but I think Spence doesn't struggle at all and gets him out of there. But for Cody Crowley, man, this is the first time since he'll be entering the ring since his dad committed suicide, which is extremely it's a sad situation, very heart-wrenching, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, he's deciding to try to take that and make it into something positive by partnering with Team 55 and trying to tackle suicide awareness. And he's looking to raise money. I think he's actually trying to raise $55,000, man, in a raffle. And he just really wants to draw more attention to it and help people out. He's even they're raffling off a couple of tickets, a couple of free plane tickets to bring people out to watch his fight. And I think that is outstanding because it's probably one of the better PBC fight cards that we've seen in quite a long time. And that's what you need to see, man. He's even going to be donating, man. Robert Duran has some signed gloves, and they have even where Chris Colbert, Ramos, there's some other fighters, man, who are actually signing gloves as well and helping to help the cause, which I think is outstanding. Now, we know Chris Colbert, who faces Jose Valenzuela on the same card, he's donating gloves, but, he always dedicates his fights to raise awareness to various illnesses and epidemics. That's why Chris Colbert's always dyeing his hair all these crazy colors, but in honor of suicide awareness, Chris Colbert's going to be dyeing his hair yellow. So I think that's outstanding. But if you guys didn't know, they're going to be on the fight card for David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. So an extremely stacked undercard, outstanding main event. And that's what you want to see. That's really what you want to see. But if he can get a win over Ramos, that's going to leave Crowley in a favorable position because that means he's fighting for the WBC title eliminator, which not really sure how all that works because Keith Thurman's supposed to be the mandatory, but it is what it is. And they may make Crowley versus Thurman. Like, that could be what they make. I may need to do a video on that. But we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. But for now, the immediate goals is for Colbert to win and for Crowley to win. And Colbert is still talking about possibly fighting Errol Spence's fighter, Frank Martin. Now, how interesting would that be to see if Colbert gets a win, Crowley gets a win, and then Crowley goes on and somehow finds himself fighting Errol Spence, and Colbert finds himself fighting Frank Martin, all on the same card. That would be interesting. But that being said, more to come on this, but I'm glad to see Cody Crowley is back in action. Glad to see Chris Colbert's back in action. But I know for Colbert, he has to be careful moving forward because he's already taken a loss. And in boxing, which it sucks, you start getting more than one loss. Unfortunately, that can really hinder your career. We don't want to see that for Colbert. So that being said, more to come on what happens if these guys win. But right now, it's about them getting the win and taking on the bigger fight to help, fight against suicide. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.